9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.
What up, y'all? Happy Friday. Happy Friday. I have to think what day it was. Happy Friday. Welcome to Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. My name is TK Trinidad, and we have an amazing show today. Sorry for the tardiness. Technology was technologying. But I am not alone. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. A lot of stuff's happening this weekend. Some destination things that are going to be happening that you're going to see me and my co-host out on two opposite ends of North America. My co-host today being the PR princess herself, Courtney Rice, is in the building.
Hey, what's up? Happy Friday. Happy Friday. It has been for me, it's been a very productive, tiring, and well-thought week. I'm just happy it's Friday. We do have Wrestle Dream tomorrow. Lots is happening, but yeah, I'm ready to get started with Friday.
First off, congratulations to Dylan, you're hilarious. We'll start with some AEW news. Definitely, first off, congratulations to Mercedes Moné, who surpassed, and I think we were all not surprised. If I were running the company, that's exactly what I would do as well. Who surpassed Jade Cargill as the longest reigning AEW TBS champion of all time, which adds to her 10 belts. And I think her goal was or is 12 belts. What do you say to all of this, especially with Wrestle Dream coming up tomorrow?
Well, it's very interesting because actually it doesn't surprise me because I've been saying this for the last couple of weeks on my watch along. If you've been following, I've been saying she's going to break Jade's record. It's just a matter of time. I just can't see her losing it right before she breaks it. So I'm happy she did break the record. I'm happy that she could say she's the longest reigning TBS champion because she did put on a lot of banger of matches with Harley Cameron, Chris Statlander, Hikaru Shida, Alex Windsor, Rio, along with many others. Also with the fact too, having an open challenge during Homecoming for the TBS title. We all know she is going to be putting her CMLL Women's Championship on the line tonight. She'll be putting that on the line tonight. She will be at Wrestle Dream, but she will be having a celebration of her 10 belts tomorrow because I just found out of all the pay-per-views since she's been at AEW, Wrestle Dream is the one pay-per-view she has not had a match in because last year she didn't have a match. She had a backstage segment with Queen Aminata, and this year she's having a celebration for her 10 belts.
It's interesting. So she's held the title for 509 days. Jade has been 508 days. So, I kind of feel like, yes, I mean, Jade's obviously not coming back and nobody's kind of coming close to it because nobody's holding the title. But I mean, celebrating at 600 days or whenever the next pay-per-view would have been great. But Jade also had 25 successful titles, whereas Moné is at 22. So with that being said, in your expert opinion, because you watch AEW and definitely check out the watch alongs, etc., how many title defenses do you think? Well, two questions. Do you think Moné will be the title by the end of or the starting of 2026? And how many more title defenses do you think will happen by the time the end of the year happens?
It's very interesting because I was saying this on Wednesday because I kept thinking like what's going to be next for her and everything else. Obviously with the women's tag team titles, I still believe Alex Windsor is going to be the one to do it. We just haven't seen her on TV for a while. I mean, obviously she had a heck of a match at the Ring of Honor for the IWGP Women's Championship against the former champion, Sari. She had a banger of a match. And also with the fact too, the match that they had at 2300, I thought it was going to end in a draw, but I do think there is a lot of layers to this. And with the fact too, Mercedes made some comments about her man who is on IR right now. So I think it would be good to kind of roll it back a bit and also making Alex, because I'm kind of thinking like, who else in that roster could be the one to do it. And if you,
Right.
and this is kind of the problem that AEW has, is character development, which we've been talking about this for the last couple months. I've been talking about this on my watch along. And if they really want to make Alex Windsor believable, they're going to really have to really dig deep in her character development, everything she's been through. She's a great wrestler, but it's just like really kind of breaking into that character development. Now, if it's not Alex, I don't know who's it going to be. I would not be shocked if she held it for the remaining of 2026. I could see her defending it at Full Gear, which is the next video. It's just the question is, if it's not Alex Windsor, who is going to be the one? Because honestly, I'm trying to think in my head, like, who is it going to be? Because like, you could roll it back to Rio, because her and Rio had a really good match. And also with the fact too, she tried to get herself disqualified by trying to touch the referee. So they could probably go it back, but we shall see what happens.
Yeah. Do you think she's going to hit that 1,000 mark? I feel like if I were her, that's what I like. 500 is cool. You've had a lot of women at different promotions hit that 500 mark. The 1,000 mark is when, you know, it's rarefied air. So
That is verified.
do you think that's good? And then how much longer does she have on her contract?
I think she signed a 5-year deal. 5 years she signed.
And so we're
she's
year 2 or 3 now?
Yeah, something like that. Because she came in last year.
Dang, has been just a year?
Just a year. But yeah, she signed that 5-year contract. But I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if she did. Well, the second part about it is that, and it makes me sad because they didn't do this with Athena, because she hit that $1,000 mark when she was Ring of Honor Women's Champion. Right. I would not be surprised if that kind of went, no pun intended, all out for this. Because it made me really sad that they didn't do it for Athena when she hit that $1,000 mark and she put Ring of Honor on her back. I would not be shocked if she did hit 1,000. I mean, that's really incredible because that it's like the history, but we shall see what happens. I mean, as I said earlier, if it's not Alex Windsor being the one to do it, I can't think of anybody else at this point as of right now.
Yeah, so Athena's at 138 days. So, I mean, it kind of feels like if the rumors are true, and we don't know if the rumors are true, in order to pass Athena has to drop. But again, just kind of like what you were saying as well, with character development, who would Athena drop to?
That is the question. I can't.
So
I mean, she's already faced off against every single woman that I can think. Like, she already faced off against Mina. She faced off against Queen Amanada. I don't think she faced off against Diana, from my understanding. I don't think she faced off against Diana Purrazzo. She faced off against Thunder. So I really can't think of. I mean, unless you want to bring somebody from New Japan to beat her.
Yeah, but then the thing is, like, you bring it, and it's essentially what we were talking about as far as character development, right? So you bring somebody from New Japan, and then what? Because you want to be able to have. How do you come back from Mercedes at 500 plus days and Athena at 1,000 days? Who follows in their footsteps and actually can hold the belt? I kind of equate it to when I was watching, or when I used to cover like UFC, right? And you had Ronda Rousey, and she brought all these eyes, she had all these commercials, all this other stuff, and no shade to the women after her, but they just didn't. I don't know if it was a combination of the time Ronda started and the dominance she had. They just didn't have the same type of thing that Ronda has and still has. So it's just like, who's gonna follow in those footsteps?
Well, that's gonna be, because I'm trying to think, like, who else? Like, who do I think, especially in Ring of Honor, because unfortunately Mr. Bossman has this pure women's championship tournament. It's like almost you have all your top women of Ring of Honor are fighting in that tournament. So it's like, what's next there? And also with the fact too, allegedly Athena is on break, so she won't be back till Ring of Honor final battle in December. I don't know who's going to face her in December. I mean, she could put out an open challenge. I would not be shocked if she did put out an open challenge, maybe to somebody that we haven't seen in a while. I know Hikaru Shida, she just got her visa approved. That's why she hasn't been on television for a minute. So that could be somebody that could take it from Athena. I know Thunder faced her. I wouldn't mind seeing round 2. I know she's on break. Allegedly, she's on break. So Thunder could be another one. And like I said, she hasn't faced off against Diana. So Diana could be, well, depending on where Diana is in the tournament. If she's not far along, that could be something. Or she can run it back with her versus Queen Amanada. Or Alex Windsor. Alex Windsor could be another one, because the match that they had on Collision was really good. Like, if you're not going to have Alex Windsor be the one to beat Mercedes, then Ring of Honor women's title could be. Because I think this is kind of a trust issue, and you have to think who's going to be the person that's going to carry Ring of Honor on their back. Same thing with the face of TBS. Who do you trust to have be the face of TBS and really do all the appearances related to TBS and representing AEW? That's going to be the question that's going to be spinning around a lot. Like, who's going to be the next one to really beat it and also make it believable? Like, really make it believable, and don't really mess it up on this one, and don't really make it seem rushed or unrealistic.
Shout out to us folks in the chat, our producer from the future, Dylan, Lewis, Bosa, Wilson, Chad. I haven't seen you in a minute. Welcome. Special Little Nobodies. And I think I think that missed you. Just hit us back up in the chat. Now this is going to be a really good weekend that's happening. I'm actually going to be headed out to Vegas to watch the WoW shows. And Wrestle Dream is happening tomorrow. We are going to have a watch on. It's happening in St. Louis. I actually remember when I was there in Seattle for the very first one, and it was quite entertaining. It's going to be 8 matches. You want to take us through those matches?
Yeah, give me 1 second. I do have slides for this. Yeah, it's going to be 8 matches. Yours truly will be doing a watch along tomorrow. It's going to be in St. Louis, Wrestle Dream. I know people are like, 8 matches, Courtney? Because usually it would be like 10 or 12, but it's going to be 8 matches because as you know, Mr. Bossman works during football season with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he has to get ready the next day to go to London to face off against the Los Angeles Rams. So at least keep it 8 matches. But of course, we're going to kick off with a Tornadoes Trios match, obviously a rematch from All Out in Toronto. The Demand, that consists of Ricochet and the Gates of Agony, taking on the Hurt Syndicate. TK, who do you have in this match?
Wait, so who won in Toronto?
The Demand.
I have the Demand. Actually,
Really?
no, I'm lying. I'll do Hurt Syndicate because I think they're gonna go for 3. Like, run it back.
Yeah, I think with the Demand, with Ricochet and the Gates of Agony, they're starting to be on their own. I would like to see the Hurt Syndicate pick up a win, especially from that street fight that they had at Homecoming. I'm pretty sure the Hurt Syndicate wants their lick back. So I am picking the Hurt Syndicate to pick up the victory. And we also have the AEW World Tag Team titles. Bro Dino taking on the unlikely duo of Konosuke Takeshita, the new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, and Kazuchika Okada.
I don't know. Bro Dino's just speaking to me.
I'm only picking Bro Dino only because there is continuing a lot of tension between Okada and Takeshita with the fact, I don't know if you saw Dynamite this past week, but when the Don Callis family were celebrating Don's birthday and Takeshita was on the TV, Okada accidentally turned off the TV with the remote. So there's a little bit of tension, and then the tension's going to continue to heat up because Takeshita is going to be the guy to give him Okada's first pinfall loss. since he has been in AEW. He has not had a pinfall loss yet. So I'm picking, and still tag team champions, Brodino.
Okay.
You said you picked Brodino?
Yep, I got Brodino.
We also have a 500K match between the Young Bucks and the newly and refreshed return of Jurassic Express.
I'd say Osa. I'd say Jurassic Express.
Same. I can't see them losing. This is like their first pay-per-view match together. I just can't see them losing anytime soon. And plus, it's nice to see the Young Bucks in a time like this. And this is what happens when you wipe up all your money. So
I wonder if they really get the money. Like, even like beyond just AEW, like WWE's had, you know, these kind of money things too. Like, I wonder if they actually do get the money.
Oh, they do get the money. I think it was one episode. It was right during their 6-year anniversary. They had some money left over. And unfortunately, Nick Jackson blew all the money at a casino.
And that wasn't for TV though.
They put
because
it on TV.
On top of that, if you get that much money, like, are they taking out the taxes? Because the amount of money that you have to pay just to get it tax wise is a whole situation too.
Yeah, that's a whole
I would have some questions. Like, before I would even enter a match, I'd be like, so is this straight cash? Are you giving me cash? Are you putting this in my check? Because they're putting this in my check, then taxes, they almost, like, the government takes almost half. So there's a lot of questions I have, you know, with stuff like this. But, you know,
that's why you handle the money part.
Just, you know,
you handle the money. You handle the money part. We have a TNT Championship match. The Aussie Protostyle Kyle Fletcher taking on Mark Briscoe.
I got Kyle Fletcher.
Yeah, it's going to be a good match between them. They're both pretty even. Yeah. But I do see Kyle retaining because so far he has pretty much had a solid reign and just really taking the ropes as being the TNT champion, which I'm happy to see him getting a lot more TV time. Mm-hmm. I'm happy that Mark Briscoe is developing into a really strong babyface because that's what AEW needs right now because some of their stars are injured. So it's nice that he's stepping up to the fray, but I feel like there's going to be a lot more between these two along with the Don Callis family.
Yeah, I mean, anytime Mark Briscoe is involved, it's always going to be a good match. So I'm glad they're like utilizing him. I think he's going to be an integral part for AEW for some time to come.
Yeah, he is. I do see that. I do love Mark. And we have, do not be alarmed, ladies and gentlemen, because we were saying this, and I was saying this on my watch along. It's Jamie Hayter versus Tekla. And let me remind you, this involves no title. This is the first time since 2022 at Full Gear that they have a female match that does not involve a title. And we've been saying this for the last couple months. But here we are.
Man, I saw something Tekla did on IG, like from some match. Oh my God. Yes. And it's like we were talking about women. And it's like, yes, you know, it's a non-title match, but then it's also, you know, instead of feeding women, it's the same thing we were talking about as far as character development. Instead of feeding women to Athena and Mercedes, you know, the great thing that we had with, you know, Toni Storm and
Mariah
May was great. It's like, I don't know. I don't know. It's almost like with having Athena and Mercedes and even partly Toni, but she's lost here and there. It's like you're almost painting yourself into a corner where the women's division is concerned. Because you have like Tekla, like she just did something that really caught my attention on IG. And I'm like, why isn't she not in like a picture? And I realized in talking to Taya when I interviewed her, not everybody has to be in the title picture. Yep. However, it just doesn't seem like there's a lot of people in the title picture. You know what I'm saying? Like where the women's division is concerned. But
Yeah, we'll talk more
long
about that.
story short, I think Jamie Hayter.
We'll talk more about that when we get to Chris Statlander and Tony Storm, because there was a few theories I learned during my watch along. But I'm picking my gal Jamie Hayter to win this match. And remember, Tekla is still undefeated, by the way. She's still undefeated. She has not suffered a pinfall loss. So I do think this is going to be a good match between them. I'm very excited to see the story develop, since it's been developing since May. And it's going to help out to see who is going to be on what side when we get to Blood and Guts, hopefully on the women's side, and we figure out on what's like who's going to be a part of which team.
That's crazy. So first time in 3 years, Dr. Baker versus Saraya.
Yeah.
Man, wait, is Britt injured, or is she just?
She's not injured. She's still under contract.
Well, all right. Who we got
She's
next?
still under contract. And we have the AEW Women's World Championship match. Chris Statlander taking on my lady, Timeless Toni Storm.
I feel like Tony doesn't need the title. I feel like we need to continue building this iteration of Chris Statlander.
I do. I love Tony with all my heart. But I did have a theory on this, because Chris Statlander is going to retain.
Mhm.
But, and we didn't go over the matches for Tailgate, because some of the Death Riders are going to be involved with Tailgate. And I have a feeling they're going to take out every single person that stands by Darby Allin that won't get involved. And this match in particular, do not be surprised if Wheeler Yuta or Marina Shafir gets involved, because I have a feeling if they really want to put nuclear heat on Chris Statlander, I have a slight feeling not only she will join the Death Riders, but she could take out Tony the same way Mox did with Danielson last year.
Okay.
And also with the fact too, this could actually help. I mean, I know some of the ladies are like with each other, they're handling Blood and Guts, but I feel like this could also tie in some other ladies as well, helping out, of course, with Team AEW, because obviously Willow has some issues with the Death Riders. I know she's with Jet Speed, handling with FTR. I could see probably Harley coming in here, because even though she's friends with Chris Statlander, if she saw what she did with Tony, that also could be another one. And also, hopefully we get to see some ladies back. Maybe Mina Shirokana could come in. And also, if they're not going to involve Alex Windsor, I wouldn't mind having her involved with the Death Riders, because you got to defend your man, girl. The Death Riders took him out at Forbidden Door.
Okay. Wouldn't this have to be? So wait, what is the? Have they announced who's the main event?
Moxley and Darby Allin.
Oh, okay. I mean, Bosa, you know what promotion? No shade to AEW, but you know what promotion we're dealing with. What do we got next?
Well, I mean, no shade, not for this pay-per-view, but I'm still holding hope it is going to happen. I just don't know when. Who is it? I don't know, but I'm still holding out hope. We have the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Hangman Adam Page taking on Samoa Joe.
Hangman.
Yeah, I could see Hangman Adam Page retaining. He's never beaten Samoa Joe, so this will be a good opportunity for him. And also very curious on what's going to be next for him. If he keeps the title, what's going to be next for him after Wrestle Dream?
Right. Because I feel like Samoa Joe is he's obviously, because of him being in the game for so long, I think he's gonna help produce. And no, it's not even a shade to Hangman, but it's gonna just be a banger of the match, and he doesn't need the title.
No.
Like I feel like he's doing things backstage also to help, as far as producing and storylines and stuff like that. So I think this would be more Hangman.
Yeah, and it's really a good opportunity for him too, because him working backstage and helping out with some of the younger stars, because Samoa Joe's been around the game for so long. I wouldn't mind seeing him like if he was ready to retire. I wouldn't mind seeing him helping out on Ring of Honor since he wrestled in Ring of Honor.
Very true.
They can use all the help they can get.
I don't. Let's see. With Ring of Honor, is it like can they use all the help they can get, or is it they just need a better plan?
A plan, just a better plan.
Because I can't remember what I was listening to. I don't know if it was Gary B or whatever. And they're like, you know, say if you were in Denver for whatever reason, but you had a map of Alabama, right? And you're trying to find a certain store in Denver, that map in Alabama is not going to help you. And that's what it kind of feels like with some parts of AEW. It's just kind of like it seems like it's like, okay, well, what are we going to do this week versus, you know, what WWE Unreal did. And obviously, you know, based off of what we've seen and what people know of reality TV, etc., what we saw on Unreal, you don't really know how much of it is scripted and how much of it is actually happens behind, because it's just, you know, but based off of that, it's like, it doesn't feel like WWE, it doesn't feel like, excuse me, AEW does that. So it's just kind of like, well, and, you know, does it need to be just all storyline, or are they just doing wrestling, which is fine? But I think for me, who heavily relies on the storyline, it just seems like sometimes like, okay, this is what we're throwing together and we're still in competition. And we'll get to Andrade and stuff like that, because then it's like, okay, are you as a company really trying to destroy this other company, which is a whole nother story. Anyways, enough of my monologue tangent. Long story short, got Hangman.
This is why Tony Khan needs to hire me, so at least I can do some planning.
that part, because
this is like the occurring.
What's happening?
This is like the occurring thing.
Yeah.
And we have our main event: Darby Allin, Jon Moxley, I Quit match. This is pretty much building up for a year. Since last year at Wrestle Dream, after the Death Riders reciprocated Bryan Danielson.
Didn't Darby just come back? Wasn't he gone for a while?
He was gone for December of last year. Then he climbed Mount Everest. Then he made his appearance in July. And now he's back.
I got Darby on this.
I think Darby Allin's gonna get the win. I understand with the Death Riders, I know they're all gonna get involved, but Darby Allin's gonna get some help in the most unique way. And no, if anybody's saying Sting is not coming back, the man is retired, because people would say Sting. I'm like, no, Sting is retired. He's enjoying his appearance retirement tour. Let the man rest. No, it's not gonna be Sting. I'm actually looking at the guy that's announcing, Bryan Danielson. Don't think you are slick, because even though he says, oh, I'm retired, I'm on commentary. No. You still want a lick what the Death Riders did to you last year. And I'm also going to throw in another person that could get involved, and that is Nigel McGuinness. And the reason I say Nigel is because a couple weeks ago at Collision, when Daniel Garcia started joining the Death Riders, he called Nigel McGuinness a parasite.
Oh.
So I don't think Nigel took that very well. So I think he's going to get some unnecessary help. I'm sure the rest of the Death Riders are going to do everything in their power to stop it, but Darby is going to get the win.
I mean, that would make for interesting stuff and social media clips. So, you know,
I mean, I've been milking this. No, I've been milking this on my watch the last couple of weeks, because the minute I saw Collision, and I was like, I'm sorry, you need to get Nigel and Bryan Danielson on the same page, because they both have issues with the Death Riders. Even though they hate each other, they can have a common enemy.
There it is. Who do you have next?
And this is it.
Oh, that's the last one?
That's the last one.
Oh, I'm seeing, did we do Willow in them?
Oh, that was Tailgate. That was like the Tailgate one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's Tailgate. Hold on, give me 1 second, because that's the main match card. But this is actually the Tailgate Brawl. That'll be happening tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on TNT and HBO Max. We do have members of the conglomeration: Tomohiro Ishii, Orange Cassidy, Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, taking on the members of the Death Riders.
I think the Death Riders, especially if John's not going to win.
I'm only going with, I would go with Orange Cassidy, but I do have a feeling the Death Riders may pull this because, as I mentioned earlier, they're trying to take out every person as they can on not getting involved to help Darby Allin. So I could see the conglomeration being a threat. And with the fact, too, with Orange Cassidy, because Orange Cassidy has history with every single member of the Death Riders.
All right. Who else do we got?
For Tailgate, we also have Eddie Kingston and Hook will be at the Tailgate Brawl. We just don't know who their opponents are going to be. So that's just a quick FYI, because I guess we'll find out this weekend. I meant tomorrow. Okay. Tomorrow. We have Penelope Ford and Megan Bayne taking on Willow Nightingale and Harley Cameron.
Let's do Penelope and Megan.
You would think Penelope and Megan. I'm actually going to go with Willow and Harley Cameron to get the win. Okay. I think they have been a very interesting tag team together. And also with the fact, too, I know Harley Cameron's friends with Chris Statlander, but she has her issues with the Death Riders. So I think this will be an interesting segue. And also, I'm sure that Weasel Stokely will be close behind, but he is a weasel. He looks like a weasel, acts like a weasel, but
oh my.
But I also am kind of really awaiting because depending on when she comes back, I wouldn't mind seeing Beth and Willow Nightingale take on Penelope Ford and Megan Bayne. But that's only what's going on with Beth. I don't know I don't know. So hopefully we do see that.
Okay. Go on.
FTR taking on Jet Speed.
Jet Speed.
Ooh, Jet Speed. I'm actually going to go with FTR. FTR doesn't take that many losses. They really, really don't. Very rarely they ever take many losses. But I do think it's going to be a good showing for Jet Speed, especially with the fact facing off against former AEW tag team champions. This will be really good for them. It's going to be a banger of a match, but I'm going to go with FTR for the win. Beulah's like...
do you hear her snoring?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And that's the end of the Tailgate Brawl.
Okay. And let's go into SmackDown.
All right. So let me pull up slides for SmackDown because it'll be from San Jose, California tonight on SmackDown, 8 Eastern Time. 8 Eastern Time on USA Network. I know we are going to have a Honey Night SmackDown happening as we continue the fallout from Crown Jewel in Perth, Australia over the weekend. And courtesy of Nick Aldis, because he made an announcement on socials, we are going to kick off with the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes after his loss to Seth Rollins at Crown Jewel. I'm very curious on what's he going to say tonight and also moving forward. We're also going to have the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships on the line. Alexa Bliss and Charlotte taking on the team from NXT, Zaruka. And it will be definitely a good match. I'm very happy to see a lot of NXT stars get a lot of call-ups the last couple of weeks. And we're also going to have Jacob Fatu taking on Drew McIntyre after the chaos that happened backstage last week and them attacking each other back and forth. We're going to see this happen one-on-one. All of this and more happening on SmackDown tonight. And is there any match or anything particular you want to see on SmackDown tonight?
I'm curious about the women's tag team match for a couple of reasons. I mean, obviously we had a lot of cuts recently. Not necessarily main roster wise, but in general. And so I'm wondering if there are going to be more permanent call ups, and to kind of alleviate space on like Evolve and NXT, to like have the people who are still currently in the PC, kind of evolve into that. So I'm wondering how this is going to play out, because as far as the women's division on the main roster, and it'd be good to see what Honey thinks of that. Is Charlotte and Alexa Bliss good together, which we're seeing they've been champions for a while, or is it time for them to make the move?
It's going to be very interesting to watch this match. It's going to be a banger of a match, but it's very curious on the both dynamics, because obviously Charlotte and Alexa, that's going to be interesting. And as you mentioned, we've had many cuts that happen from Evolve that happened this past week. Also, the last couple days, but also last Friday as well. And also very curious with Zaruka because of what happened on NXT on Tuesday, because there seems to be a lot, I don't want to say friction, but seems to sense it, especially since Blake Monroe wants Sol Ruka's NXT North American Women's Championship.
Right.
So
it's going to be interesting. But I actually kind of want to talk about the curious thing of AI and how everything is going to be playing out with that, because I wonder if that's related to the cuts and how everything is playing out. So Sai Kosari, I believe his name is, he's hired as WWE Senior Director for Creative Strategy and will focus on AI, storytelling, and integration. And it's like AI, we can't escape it. So it's not surprising. I was just talking to a friend of mine who's a writer, and you went from writing rooms that had 10, 15, 8 people, now that you might have 3 and 1 main person, and everything else is kind of fed through AI. I was talking to another person where yes, there's the chat GPTs of it all, but now there's kind of being AI developed for companies where the information is contained. So how do you think this is going to be played out as far as storylines into the future? And then I kind of almost wish that we didn't know this, because now it's like, just of course the kayfabe of everything is kind of changing with social media. It has been changing, but now do we add that level of, okay, was this an AI story, or was this something that is there going to be a writer's room? And then there's also mentioned in this article from Fightful that Triple H is going to be doing more political stuff, which is interesting, to say the least. So with everything that is said, what do you find most interesting about this article, Courtney? And then also, do you have any questions, or where do you see this all going?
It's kind of crazy because if you know my day job, and it's crazy because me and my peers talk about this for the last couple months, because we talk about AI. We know we try to find ways incorporating it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And that kind of takes away, especially the storytelling aspect, because it takes away the lack of creative imagination when it comes to storylines. Because when you think and have that creative tell, and this is nothing against AI, but I just feel like sometimes people overuse it and not really understand what it means, because sometimes it'll take your information and you won't even know a thing. And with the fact too, it really kind of takes away from the planning, the process, which I actually do love when it comes to my job, the creative thinking, the critical thinking. It really takes away from it. And I know there are some tech companies, most specifically PR agencies, that focus a lot on tech, that do use AI, but sometimes you kind of have to figure out when to use it, not overuse it. And I have seen this play out on socials, and it can be very scary. I mean, sometimes people look at it like, for videos or whatever, but sometimes it can be a little bit scary. And even the current times that we're in now, because the dangers of spreading misinformation, misguided, even influencers that are spreading possible information using AI, and without
Mhm.
without fact checking credibility. It's very scary. I mean, I have nothing, I have mixed feelings when it comes to AI, but it's kind of like how you use it and you don't abuse
Mhm.
it. And also, yeah, with the AI stuff, and it also helps with Triple H not doing his activities outside because that's a different conversation. And I know it's Friday, but yeah, it's just a lot to take in. And I think this is going to be something that they're going to have to really deal with it, because people are going to be critical. They're going to ask questions. And I know Nick Khan trying to say, oh, we don't listen to the fans, this, and that. You're going to have to listen to a lot of feedback. I mean, you may not like it, but you're going to have to really take on not just the feedback, but constructive criticism. I mean, of course, fans are going to say like, oh, we hate this and blah, blah, blah. But you really need to open your mind with constructive feedback, especially
Mhm.
if it's like somebody that an audience you're trying to tailor to, the casual fans, the brands, the sponsors. They may not know wrestling, but they may know such and such. And if they point out, this is where you kind of have to really learning how to pivot and also figuring out what's not working. So, I mean, I know we're into the future and everything else, but I think that's something to keep in mind of the warnings of using AI and not using it for a personal abuse.
Well, and it's funny. I had a conversation with somebody who does like podcasting stuff like that, and he uses AI for a lot of different things. And I think that was in Cyrus's case, you know, he's an expert in it, and it really just depends on how you wield it, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, will this be like, instead of how many people did we see in that writer's room on Unreal? Like instead of 10
Four.
people, yeah,
Four.
or instead of 4 people, are we going to see 2 people, and then, you know, somebody pulls the trigger and then, you know, puts it into AI, using it as more of a secondary tool versus, oh, tell me what should happen on SmackDown. Or are you decide what's going to happen on SmackDown, then you feed it to AI, and now this, you know, produces a whole script. Like it just really is very, it's dependent. It's here. You know, for those who are kind of scared of it, I what I've been told is, if you're scared of it, then you should try to learn more about it.
Yeah.
Because it's here, it's not going anywhere. If you have a smartphone, it's infiltrating every part of your life. So the best thing to do is to try to learn as much as possible and be able to detect, and this is beyond wrestling, just be able to detect, you know, what, you know, articles are written by AI versus not, or doing the research, or really having an eye for it to realize what is AI and stuff like that. Maria saying AI has no business writing storylines. It is, but this is where we are in society. And if you're looking at the number of cutbacks, and this is not the first time, so it's not, I wouldn't necessarily put that whole correlation, but I am curious to see what the books look like, because it's a balancing of the books. You might see WWE doing all these amazing things, but you know, how much in the green are they, and how much, you know, to pay, you know, the $200,000 or $300,000 of payroll for, you know, CEOs and etc. What does that all look like? So I don't think we're gonna, you know, get those type of answers. And then also, when you have wrestlers, for instance, like Jacob Fatu, who is sidelined for non-related wrestling injury,
Mm-hmm.
like you still have to pay him. He's still on
Mm-hmm.
payroll. So, you know, all of that, the checks and balances of all of that, and how do you, I wouldn't necessarily say AI is cutting corners, but how do you, you know, make sense of it? It is going to be kind of interesting. And if Cyrus is, and it sounds like he's an expert in it, I don't think we'll be able to detect what is AI and what won't be. Because who knows, they might have been using AI for the last year.
Yep.
With Jacob now, what do you think is going to happen here?
It kind of sucks because he was supposed to be in a feud with Drew McIntyre. Now, the hardest part is where they're going to put Drew.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be, I mean, him and Cody could go around too, I would not have a problem with that because there's still a story to tell between him and Drew. And also with the fact, too, with SmackDown, you have to take a look on who is in your main roster. Obviously, Sami Zayn has a U.S. title, but he should be upgraded to the world title picture, but that's a whole story on that. Aleister Black, apparently he's going to be in a feud with Damian Priest. That includes Selena Vega. So that's a whole nother story there. R-Truth, I don't know where he is. I mean, he pops here, he pops there. The Miz looks like he's going to be in a feud with Carmelo Hayes. So then it's like you kind of have to really think where you could put Drew, and also him and Cody could run it back. I mean, we're kind of on the road to War Games at this point. And also I'm sure those two are going to have probably some contributions to the War Games match, depending on which team we're going to have. So I think that's the best way for Drew, is just kind of keeping him in that little bubble when it comes to the WWE title. Have him spats with Cody back and forth, because at this point, I was saying this on Honey Night SmackDown because Drew is doing it, but there's also another person, unfortunately, I could see that could be in that world title pick, and we haven't seen him. It's Logan Paul, because we haven't seen Logan Paul since Paris.
And how are we going to have Bloodline and Vision in War Games? Didn't the Vision kind of blow up?
Well, I would say it kind of, but I just think there's a lot more story to tell with Heyman, Bronson Reed, and Braun Breaker. I mean, I know they took out Seth, but I'm very curious on how this is going to go, because
I think it was also too soon for that to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I think everybody knew it was going to happen, but I think it was too soon for that to happen.
And also with the fact too, Seth has to take a break from having surgery, so that's another reason why they kind of had to cut it very short. Because if you saw Crown Jewel during his match with Cody, his shoulder was it looked very banged up.
Yeah, but even if that were the case, I mean, they could have still operated as the Vision while Seth is out, kind of like they did when Roman was out. And then when he comes back, that's when you would do the turn.
Yeah, I don't know why, but it's very hard to it's very hard, because it's like, wait, CM Punk is the number one contender, and then you took out Seth as a champion, so it's like, where are we going with this? And then also War Games, then it's like, who else is going to team with Bronson and Braun Breaker? I mean, I would not be shocked if Brock was in it, because it looks like Brock Lesnar still has a few WWE events under his belt. And also with the fact too, right before his match with John, him and Paul Heyman said, we need to talk.
Right. Well, we'll see what happens with that, but whatever Jacob Fatu is going through, we hope speedy recovery and everything kind of goes in his favor. Another person that we're hoping things go in his favor, not funny, but interesting, Andrade. So he got let go from WWE. We saw him pop back up on AEW, to only be taken off because there's a 90-day 90-day I want to say fee. It's not a fee. 90-day, oh wait, here it is. 90-day hold where he can't compete, a non-complete deal, which is interesting because he got let go. It wasn't that how the paperwork was reading. It's like he got let go, so everybody just assumed that there wouldn't be an issue. But even if you do get terminated or you decide not to renew your contract, I think everybody kind of is on that. It's interesting that WWE wanted to send a cease and desist, because in the grand scheme of things, does it matter? You know what I'm saying? It's not like he was like you decided to let him go. So
it's a very unusual story, because
unless unless they
That's-
paid him. Unless they paid him for the 90 days. That's the only way I could see that happening, which is possible. But
it's
I guess
crazy. I mean, it's kind of crazy how this whole thing happened because we thought, because there was reports floating around that he left WWE and he was escorted out the building because of a wellness policy. No mention of the 90-day clause. They just like, okay, your contract's done. And then that's it. Like you could just go whatever. And then this whole thing had to blow up. I'm not going to put all the blame on him, but whoever handles the contracts, his agent, whoever handles that, somebody did not do their due diligence and actually read the contract. I don't know what happened here. I mean, I'm not going to point fingers because I feel like this is some a little bit responsibility and accountability because you didn't read the contract. I don't even know what happened because contracts can be very funny at times because people, even with dirt sheets, like some people in the dirt sheets think you know a contract. You don't know what a contract is. You don't know what goes in through that contract because there's so much that can happen, especially if you talk to an agent, they'll say one thing and then the next day something will happen. So it's like, you don't know what's going to happen. And it really kind of sucks that Andrade was not in the best spot because I thought, okay, he's gonna be at AEW, he's gonna be with Don Callis family, and then when this all came out, it's like, okay, shit hit the fan. It hit the fan really hard.
I wonder what because it's like you haven't heard, unless I'm wrong, the wellness policy. Like you haven't heard that in a long time. Like people getting let go because it has to do with the wellness policy. Like, you know, like marijuana was a thing, and I'm just doing a quick search, and they said they took marijuana off the table, so that's no longer considered something that would be breaking the wellness policy. No masking agents. Apparently, there's still random testing. You know, performance enhancing drugs. But I feel like we're in such an era right now that you don't need, like, you're not shooting horse steroids in like your butt anymore, like, you know, back in the day. So it's just like, what, unless it was something else, and if that's the case, is this not the first time? Like, and of course, you know, I'm sure it falls under HIPAA, so we would never know, and nor you know, do we deserve to know? But it's just kind of one of those things that it just happened so weird, right? Like he was here, then he was gone, then he's back here again, now he's gone, then he's with AEW, and if it was according to the wellness policy and something that is for his health, meaning that like he's not treating his body well, then why is AEW signing him, and why not like? And of course, I don't know. I'm just guessing. I don't know. It just might be like he wants to take performance enhancing drugs. Who knows? It is very interesting how it's played out, and I think you alluded to there was a storyline with AEW, but I think at the end of the day it'll all be fine.
Yeah, it's just not the first time this has happened, but hopefully it'll blow past this and they can move on to something else.
Yeah. And they will. I think the main thing, because you know I'm always like thinking about the money. Where's the money going? Meaning that, did he get paid 90 days for the non-compete? And if he didn't, then does he owe people money? Or did they just say you can't go anywhere for 90 days and we're not paying you money? Because then that, I feel like you can wiggle through. Because how can you stop somebody from making money for 90 days and you're not going to give them money?
Yeah.
So a lot of questions with no answers, a lot of speculation, and you know, take it with what it is. But I think, there's two more things. R-Truth. So he confirms that that Nick Khan did call him about his WWE return. I mean, this man stays busy. I think he dropped the country album like a couple months ago. Like, with everything that's said and done, and he's kind of back to the R-Truth. Like he was wrong killings, then they kind of turned him back to R-Truth. What do you think is the play for him to just kind of do what he was doing before? It almost seemed like, yeah, the wrong killings was more serious and the wrong killings of old. However, he just has a really good knack for being R-Truth. And the essentially the comic relief despite it all. So what do you think is the play? And do you think I mean, he can go, but I'm still kind of upset about this John Cena thing. So like, don't even get me started on that. But what are your thoughts?
I mean, they don't want to get rid of R-Truth because, well, we saw the fans' reaction after he supposedly got let go. We seen how
he
the
said he
fans
was let
reacted.
go in the article. So
supposedly, we saw how the fans' reaction because they know how an important role R-Truth plays. Tries to break character on some of the superstars. I mean, obviously, of course, when he had his mini feud with John Cena and really trying to get back to John and his old self. So it's pretty much kind of calming everything down, thinking like, oh, okay. But I just wouldn't be surprised if they kept it under the rug with R-Truth, because then it's like you blew it up proportion. I mean, you got some of the dirt sheets and wrestling podcasters and content creators upset. It just blew up a storm. And then when you find out what happened, people were still mad about that. I mean, some people were happy you borrowed R-Truth, but some people were still mad about it. So it's like, okay. But
I wonder if it's one of those cuts where like you have a department that determines, okay, well, they're not viable to the company, and they decide to make the cut. And then Nick Khan was like, wait, well, hold on for 1 second. You don't know all the things that this man is doing. Like, I wonder if there's one of those situations, because I don't know. It just seems like there's so many cooks in the kitchen at the top level that, like, I don't know. And Nick Khan is so particular on things. I feel like somebody did the letting go and Nick Khan caught it after. Because I think there was a couple incidents where, actually, there's a couple incidents where people I know had been let go from WWE, and what I've heard is like Stephanie didn't, at the time Stephanie was with the company, Stephanie didn't know that happened. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like, I wonder if it's one of those scenarios where like, you gave them free range, but you didn't let them know, like, R-Truth was part of that untouchable crowd. Like, we're not going to see anytime soon, if ever, not Cena. Well, Cena, because technically he's still with the company, even after he retires, Roman Reigns. I think the Usos are part of that. Like, we're not going to see certain people get let go. And I think whoever was doing that, they didn't realize R-Truth is part of that group of individuals.
I think it might have been a miscommunication. Like, I'm not gonna point fingers, but it might have been a miscommunication in the front office.
Right. That's what it is. That's how you sum up everything I just said. There was a miscommunication that was like, look, this is what we thought. And Nick Khan's like, no, what, like, and then how are we going to? And then it kind of, because, I do believe when Nick said we don't listen to people, I do believe that, because he, like, think of when he started with WWE, and everything that he said he was going to do, he's executed it. Right. Like, his background prior to that, he's taken people's careers to like crazy levels. So I definitely think that, somebody or a group of people thought like, oh yeah, we just got rid of some people, and they didn't realize that. Yeah. Well, Bosa is saying Nick Khan was exposed as a hypocrite. No, this is exactly what both Courtney and I are saying. It's like, yes, Nick Khan is, my dog is stretching because she's ready for a walk. Yes, Nick Khan is, the head of a lot of different things. However, he doesn't have his hand in everything. WWE is such a big company that it's hard to have your hand in every single thing. And no offense to TK at AEW, but you see he has his hand in everything. And this is why we have Athena at 1,000 days. Although deserving, we just don't know what's going to be happening. So I don't think that's the case. But definitely happy R-Truth is back. What do you think, or what do you think is going to or what do you hope if you were able to write this without AI? What do you hope is gonna happen with R-Truth?
I just wouldn't mind showing up on SmackDown randomly. I wouldn't mind seeing him have an interaction with The Miz. I know they were the Awesome Truth, but I wouldn't mind seeing him interact a few more times. I know The Miz has Carmelo Hayes in a few, but it would be nice to see them kind of do that, or interacting with Damian Priest, giving reminiscences from when they were in the Judgment Day, or maybe interacting with Cody Rhodes. Continue interacting with Cody Rhodes.
There's so many possibilities, and definitely shout out to R-Truth for just being R-Truth.
Oh, and also one more thing. I wouldn't mind if Sami Zayn is still doing his open challenge for the US title. I wouldn't mind seeing R-Truth get involved in a match.
I mean, could you imagine? I think he has one more title run in him.
I think so. Before he hangs it up.
I mean, I don't think he's gonna hang it up though. I feel like he has like a Legends deal where he works, I don't know, let's say a total of 3 months out of the year, depending, spreading it out, and then he does his own thing. And he's in such good shape that
And he was also at the Panthers game too over the weekend. Not this past weekend, but probably a week before.
Yeah. So what? Why? Can we do new? I mean, I would say we could do new stuff for him, but they're not even there's storylines that are not even happening now with new people.
Yep.
So it's almost like why stop something that's already working? If he's coming in and out of, and it depends if he's okay with that. If he wants a bigger storyline, then yes. But if he's okay with just coming in and coming out and doing his thing, then why stop that? Before we get out of here, one last thing. So 26 years ago today, WWE No Mercy, the first ever tag team ladder match happened between the Hardy Boys and Edge and Christian for $100,000 cash prize. Again, did they get the money? I don't know. Well, this is a question that we need to find out. And were they taxed on the money? That's the even bigger question. So man, 26 years ago. Jesus. Yes. It's crazy. Acknowledging that, but do you see any other firsts happening in wrestling?
Oh man, first happening in wrestling. Well, I'm just trying to see, because we already had a first women's Money in the Bank ladder match. We had a first women's Hell in a Cell. We're going to be getting a first women's Blood and Guts match soon. Hopefully. It's going to be very hard to top the matches, because usually the stipulations will be fun, but it's thinking what hasn't happened yet?
Right.
What has not happened? And it's very interesting to see. I mean, obviously, at that time, when you think about 1999, it was the first tag team ladder match to ever appear on, well, back then it was WWF, on a pay-per-view, but just really revolutionary tag teams. And it was really nice, because that was one of the first early matches. Them, along with the Hardys and the Dudleys, having the first ever tables match at the Royal Rumble in 2000. And that led to the triple threat ladder match at WrestleMania 16. Obviously, that elevated to the TLC match 1 and 2, because that's something to do that, and also being revolutionary within tag team wrestlings. But it has come a long way. I just really can't. I'm trying to think of a first. Obviously, women's TLC. I want to say we did, but it might have been on a pay-per-view, but I wouldn't mind seeing a women's TLC. And yes, Bozo, you mentioned that China did win the WWE Intercontinental Championship. First woman to ever do that. I don't know if we're going to see a female win because we now have a women's Intercontinental title. Not sure if that'll happen, but yeah, I mean, we've had so many firsts.
Some intergender stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, you have P Nasty and LFG, which I hope she gets all the way to the main roster. I think she has a lot of potential. That's the only thing I can think of now where we're doing more intergender stuff. But speaking of firsts, the Women's Wrestling Archive is the first of its kind to document everything that's happened women's wrestling to the forefront, and eventually a museum. So you definitely want to support.
Women's wrestling didn't just show up yesterday in glitter boots. We've been here the entire time, body slamming through history.
The Women's Wrestling Archive launches January 1st, 2026, and it's gonna pave the way for all women's wrestling.
Because if we don't document it, a man might say he did it first.
This has been a passion project for a very long time. Head over to the womenswrestlingarchive.com to donate 1, 5, or whatever you can. It all goes a long way.
Let's give these women the spotlight that they've always deserved.
Her story belongs in history. Help us preserve it today. Join us at womenswrestlingarchive.com. Support the archive. Support women's wrestling. Donate today.
Sorry, I was just laughing because I just saw a post that Tiffany Stratton did with R-Truth on Instagram.
She what?
She did a collab post with R-Truth.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
And happy birthday to Raylan. Okay. Well, P Nasty has changed her name. Okay, I have to see all that. We have to definitely catch up on that. But with that being said, I want to thank you guys so much for joining. Courtney, where can everybody find you? And definitely, where can everybody find you tomorrow?
Well, the people can always find me chirping sporadically on WWT Live and any way as I can. You can find me tomorrow because we will be doing a watch along of AEW Wrestle Dream. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, there are 8 matches on the card. So get ready for some mayhem, chaos, because who knows what's going to happen tomorrow, but I'm very excited to see some of the matches. Feel free to put it in the chat on what match you're looking forward to see. It's going to be very fun. They can also follow me on Courtney NJ11 on Twitter and Instagram because I do have some content happening. Please make sure to check out my latest interview with Georgia Smith, the daughter of the legend British Bulldog. It was a very fun interview. She talks about obviously her dad, and then she talks about why her cousin Natty should be the women's Intercontinental Champion. So she has been definitely gave thought out information on that. So do not miss that. Feel free to reach out to me on my socials. Also, I will be putting my bold predictions for AEW Wrestle Dream ahead of tomorrow.
With that being said, if you are in the Vegas area, come and check out the WOW shows. What's happening Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, I will be there. A lot of good things happening with that. Some interviews are also dropping on WWT. You can follow me everywhere at TK Trinidad. Make sure you follow Women's Wrestling Talk on all social media platforms at www.talkpod.com. And with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Ciao for now.
Thanks for joining WWT. Don't forget to like us on all social media platforms at WW Talk Pod. Like and subscribe on all video and audio platforms like yesterday, my G. And check out our website at www.talkpod.com. Thanks for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.